Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. I'm Tanis Coughlin with the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy, and I am joined by my beautiful co-host, Jennifer Jurkofsky. Hi, Jen.
Hello, hello.
I'm a intuitive energy healer, channel, galactic ambassador, Celtic shamanic high priestess. I do stuff. What kind of stuff do you do, Jen?
I do stuff too. I'm a registered psychotherapist. I'm a certified Canadian counselor and intuitive life coach, and do energy stuff and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and we do stuff together. And we also do stuff with this lovely lady.
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
We are gearing up for a retreat,
which we are going to do with Jackie.
With Jacqueline. Absolutely. So we're doing a one-day retreat on September 30th. It's going to be a full day, like 8:30 to 8:30, and packed full of stuff.
Yes.
The stuff that all three of us do.
All kinds of stuff. What kind of stuff do we have? We have
human design. We have mind glyphs. Yeah.
We have some dream
building. Yeah.
We have some yoga.
Yeah. We have yoga. Intuitive drawing and symbols and how that figures into our lives. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is an in-person, and it is going to be in
Bowman, Quebec.
Awesome.
Super exciting.
So it should be good colors, I would think, by the end of the month. We'll start to have some beautiful colors and
beautiful leaves changing and everything is looking.
Yeah, yoga mantra coloring too. Good. Thank you. Thank you for that. So if you want more information about the retreat, you can catch that on the website. You'll see a little thing right at the top on the Twillow Lifestyle website, twillowlifestyle.ca. There'll be some stuff there with more information. The agenda is posted there and all that fun stuff. So, and Pogo is joining us and can't wait. So we're excited. This is like our first retreat. So we're really, we're excited to get going on that. So yeah, looking forward to it. So let's say hello to a few people. Mm-hmm. We have Bella. Hi, Bella. How are you? I got your message. Thank you. That was so sweet. Yeah, I'm excited for you. Really, that's amazing. And then we have Sharon. Hi, Sharon. Thanks for joining us. We have Pogo. Kaylee. Hi, Kaylee.
Hello.
And we have Lalima. Hello, Lalima. Thank you for joining us. And we have Kazumel Liz. Yay.
Hello.
Yeah, retreat. It's exciting. Thank you. And here is the link. So it is in the Facebook page for the retreat. And actually, I could put that in the bottom for all. So Jem, why don't you do the? We have Twisted Sushi. Hello, and we have Sonia. So thank you for joining us. This is awesome.
Very cool.
And would you like to share the transits? Because we have a fair bit going on in the energy in the last few days, going into this week. So
this is going to be a heavy week. For a lot of reasons. So there's a lot going on. So September 15th to the 21st, we're in Gate 6. Gate of Friction. So it's in the emotional solar plexus center, connects to the sacral. So there's a lot of tension in this one, right? It's the channel of reproduction. So there's that kind of tension there as well. Just the thing, though, about this is, okay, so from a Gene Keys perspective, because that's what I like to do, the shadow, the gift, the Siddhi, we're looking at conflict, diplomacy, peace, right? So the idea here is evolving from this place of conflict to this place of peace, through the gift of diplomacy, right? How do we navigate that? And because this is really about our emotions, when we talk about that shadow side, it's this engagement with our emotions, when we're totally just tossed around by them and they're dictating everything, right? There's one thing to allow our emotions to have that ride, right? Like we're going to ride the wave, we're going to come out. There's something else entirely to allow our emotions to dictate all of our actions, right? Those are two very different things. And so when we look at conflict and we look at, where that's coming from, I think we have to take a step back, right? So in therapy, we talk a lot about locus of control, right? Do you have an internal or an external locus of control, right? Do you allow everything outside of yourself to dictate how you feel, what you're doing, how you're acting, all of that kind of stuff? Or is it an internal locus of control, right? That eye of the storm, whatever's going on around, it's okay. I'm going to be, steering my own ship kind of idea. And so, when we have this external locus of control, we believe that things outside of ourselves they can hurt us, they can make us do things, they can make us act a certain way. I'm doing this because you did that, right? All of these conflicts can come into play because we're so enmeshed with our emotions that our emotions become the captain of our ship, right? And so the idea here is, taking the wheel back, right? Yes, we want to hear the emotions, we want to hear what they have to say, we want to get the message from them, but we still want to be able to make the decisions. We still want to be able to use the diplomacy. We want to be able to figure out, where do I want to go from here? We want to really maintain that inner state to be able to navigate it. And what's really hard in all of this, and this is stuff we talk about on Twillow all the time, is, how do we navigate our thoughts, our perceptions, our fears, our patterns, all of these things, how do we bring it back to us, right? And recognize that, in order to truly heal, we have to drop our defenses, right? As Brene Brown talks about this idea of being vulnerable, right? Jung talks about being willing to go into our darkness, right? There's all of these things that we talk about that we have to be willing to look at, that we're so afraid of, right? But in order to be able to heal, in order to be able to move into that place of peace, we have to be willing to go in and look at those things. And so when we talk about diplomacy, oftentimes we think, oh, diplomacy is, this with the other person. And there are parts of that are really important. But we also have to bring that inside as well, right? And we have to be willing to be vulnerable with ourselves. And we have to be able to be diplomatic with ourselves and recognize, wow, okay, yeah, there is fear here. And yeah, I am putting up these defenses. And how can I allow space for myself to deal with the conflict within me so that I can move towards peace in my experience, right? And when we work on that, then we can bring it outward, right? Yeah. So that's the energy that we're in right now. Okay.
So it's a healing week, folks.
It is. And in the midst of that, there's some stuff that's going to be going on this week out there that is feeding on that energy. So there's some protests happening. There's some protests against protests happening, at least in the Ottawa area. I don't know if they're happening all over the world. And that energy is going to be stuff that we're going to be feeling. Right? So I don't know if you guys have already been feeling it. I know I've been feeling some of the vibrations of preparations for it already. There's some stuff going on. So just be mindful of what you're feeling. And if you're feeling high tension, if you're feeling that kind of stuff, Is it mine? Am I feeling into the collective? If it's mine, do I need to process anything? Do I need to sit with it? Do I need to just allow it? What do I need to do with it? If I need to intercessory it, okay, can I do that? Can I allow myself some grace to do that?
And what
Right?
do you mean by that?
Sometimes we have to cry just because we have to cry, and it's not ours. We don't have to put a narrative to it. We don't have to put a story to it. We just have to let the tears flow because the universe, the collective, whatever, needs those tears to flow. And sometimes that's just the reality.
Yeah.
Right? And it's
It's
okay. We don't have to put our story to it.
Yeah, that's the
Right?
thing, right? I know there's lots of times where I try to figure out why I'm crying. And
Yeah.
then like, does it really matter? It's
No.
good for me right now. Just allow, right?
Yeah.
But we do try to figure it out. We always try to figure it out because our human brain wants us to have this linear reason.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's an important piece to know that, we, especially when we have like, this empathy and all, we'll feel into different things, and we don't want to get stuck in the suffering part. We don't want to get stuck in where, the pain is. We want to be able to move through that. And so as we're moving through that, we don't want to get into toxic positivity and things like that, but we also want to recognize that everything is always moving and flowing right now, right? And so we don't want to hold energy in that heaviness, right? So the more we can do the work to allow it to just flow, the more we're putting that back out. Sorry, I'm going to mute that because I thought I already had it muted, but clearly I didn't. There we go. So, if, something comes in and we are intercessory for it and we're feeling it and we feel, okay, yeah, there's the suffering that's happening in the world, and we allow space for it and we allow, ourselves to cry, to release it, right? And then we walk around with it. At some point, we want to be able to move to that transcending that place, right? Because we want to start holding space for the healing of it.
Yeah.
Right? Because as we bring that in, we're allowing that to become our consciousness, and then we're holding space for that to flow out, right? And intentioning that to become the energy. And so, we don't want to stay in the wounding, if that makes sense. Right?
Well, and the other thing about the collective energy right now, we've got a lot of grief right now in the collective. And so we don't want to sit in that grief either, because, well, I know there's so many people right now who have actually lost somebody near and dear to them, in our local area, but on a global scale, with the two things that we had last week, it's huge. Like it's been a lot of losses in the last bit, and so people are feeling that all over the world, which does add it to the collective. So sometimes, I mean, I found myself feeling really heavy, and I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, okay, this is collective. Is this mine? It's not mine. Okay, it's collective. Let's allow it the space it needs, because it's not that. So that's the other thing. I mean, you and I have talked about this before. When we manage to pull ourselves out of it and realize that it's not ours, sometimes empaths will feel like, well, if I pull myself out of that, does that mean I don't care about it? Because we don't have the same feelings, right? So empaths are used to having those feelings around things. And when they don't have them because they've stepped back, they're like, does that mean that I'm cold? Like, does that mean that I'm not a caring person because I'm not feeling everybody's stuff? And it doesn't. It just means that you're able to just manage your own, and you can still feel compassion for all of those people that are affected. You can still send them all love and all of that stuff. It's just that you don't need to be weighed down by other people's grief.
Yeah.
Right? Just because we don't need to be weighed down by them, all that does is make it easier for us all to actually send out the love that the world actually needs. So
Yeah.
being mired in everybody else's grief is not helpful to the overall picture. The overall picture needs us to be clear light channels, as light workers, to be able to channel that light and love
Yeah.
to those
Exactly.
people that it is directly affecting, right? So I went through that when I was on my journey, and I mean, Jen and I have had conversations about it when I when I kind of realized that, oh, I'm not feeling that anymore. Why am I not? Oh, okay. But it's not about. That's why I bring it up, because when we do start to just have that sort of that silent observer role that we often talk about, and we can look at something and not be emotionally attached with the cords, right? When we
Yeah.
cannot be as emotionally attached to it, it doesn't mean that we don't care.
Yeah.
It actually puts us in a better place to be able to help others, because we're not dragged down vibrationally. We can stay in the higher vibration, which ultimately, that's all that we can ever do for, for the world, is be the highest vibration person that we can be, and be of service to others in that way, right? We
Yeah.
don't have to go and save the world. We have to work on our own vibration, do our own healing, because that is how we make a difference in the overall vibration of the world. It's nice if we can do other stuff. Like, I am totally honored that I'm able to help people with healing and with that kind of thing. But that's not the prime objective, really. The prime objective is to keep us all very high vibration and know ourselves and get us through our own soul path, right?
Yeah.
And walk each other home, right? The Rumi statement, let's just all walk each other home. That's
Mhm.
so we're still helping others, but we're doing it from a position of being healthy ourselves and being in that higher vibration ourselves. So I don't know. That's my thoughts. We, we have a whole bunch of people to say hello to. So I just want to run back and say hello to a few people. And so we want to say hello to Lisa, who is here. Where's your, I see her other hellos. Where are we? There we are. There she is. Thank you for joining us. It's always nice having you with us. And we have Heather from Indigo Jaguar. Oops, that's not hers. Where is it? There we are. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. And we have Tarot Stash.
Hello.
Hello, Gerald. Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure to see you on. And who else do we have? I saw a couple of other people come in here. We have wonderful chatters, of course. We have Kelly Alexander. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. And so we've had, so much grief around the world, so that we've got some people commenting about this stuff, right? And staying in the wound, that's a tricky one, right? Because we do need to allow ourselves to feel the emotion, but not live there. And we do tend to, as human beings, we think that our wounding, oh wow, really? Sorry. We do think that our wounding is there almost as a badge of honor sometimes, and it is in the sense that we can use it to make us stronger and make a difference, right? And so that's great. Sorry, there's a lot of wonderful comments here. So Heather is saying, this is how I was feeling this afternoon. I almost took a 2-hour nap, which is unheard of. I felt so drained. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Kaylee thinks I should name my gnome after Gerald. So I got a new gnome at a crystal show. This is what Kaylee's referring to. So here's my little gnome. He is a crystal gnome out of blue lace agate. Apparently, he may end up being named Gerald. Or maybe we call him Tarot Stash.
Gosh.
And then we have this guy too, who also needs a name. So if you guys have suggestions for him, he hasn't given me a name yet. He's met a Larkavite, Larkavite ET. Yep. So some of my new little friends that I brought home. And peace, love, and liberty. I'm so happy to have been able to make this difference for you.
Wonderful.
I'm really touched. Thank you so much for letting me know. That makes a big difference for me too. You know that I'm making a difference. That's part of my mission, right? That be of service piece. So thank you, and I'm really happy for you that things are moving in the right direction. That's wonderful. Yes, exactly. It's important we honor them because they do make us who we are, and they make us strong. And but we don't want to live there. We need to move through it, like Jen was saying, right?
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing, right? I think, and I talk about this with clients often. We can have wounding. We don't want to be identifying ourselves by our wounding.
Right.
Right? So we honor it, and we honor that it's brought us where it's brought us. But if we come to a place where this is who we believe we are, is this wounded person, then we're living there. And that's not where we want to park and stay.
Right. Yeah. So I guess people are liking the little gnome. He's cute.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Thank you. However, we have some debate about the name.
He loves his blue egg.
I think it's supposed to be love, but
no, because later it's love even. So this is love.
Oh yes, love even. There we go. Oh my goodness. What's this one here? What have we got? We need to give ourselves the rest we need. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I received feathers from a person who was unkind to me as a form of apology. Oh, that's beautiful. That was the other thing I got. The Pidgeolite feather.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. Our wounds are part of a beautiful painting. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was a question. True. My wording to my question is not quite right. So I guess, Lisa, you're asking if it was a form of apology, receiving these feathers from this person? I would say it could be. If you're receiving any kind of offering from somebody, I would say it could be a form of apology, right? We often would give something to somebody as a gift for that, as an offering, right? Peace offering, that kind of thing. So I would say, yeah, probably. What are your thoughts?
You could ask them.
You could ask them.
These are very lovely feathers. Why are you giving them to me?
Because maybe they aren't aware that you need a peace offering too. That's the other thing.
Yeah, it's so funny because we talk about, conflict, right? And vulnerability. And we get so caught up in our narratives, and we wonder and we wonder, and we don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable and ask. We don't put ourselves out there to have those communications, the tough stuff, right? And say, hey, is there something going on? Are we okay? Is there something
What's happening here?
There's something that hasn't,
There's like a shift.
Right?
What's the shift for?
Yeah.
Are you going through something? Can I support you?
Yeah. And so it's, I think it's an important piece that if we're feeling something, we can even just say that, hey, I'm feeling something. Is it me? Is there something there? Is there something going on? Right? And maybe it is me. Maybe I'm carrying something. Maybe it's not me and I am feeling into something.
Yeah.
And I think that, again, when we talk about wounding, our own wounding often holds us back from allowing ourselves to be raw and to be
And
real with
vulnerable.
people, even people that we care about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so I think that, it's important to hold space for that if it's something that is meaningful to us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so we might not even, know what the outcome is or what it's going to be, because,
Yeah.
the brain plays the what if game a lot. Right? And I talk about this with clients all of the time. And, it likes to say, yeah, well, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And it likes to tell us our fortune, but it is not a crystal ball.
No.
It will never be. It can't read the future. And yet it thinks it can, but then it plays the what if game knowing that it can't. Right? And so the more we can get into a place of being okay with not knowing, but knowing within ourselves what we would like, then we can hold space for that possibility, right? And when we talk about conflict moving into peace and this idea of diplomacy, it really is about coming into this place of authenticity within ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? In this moment, I don't feel okay. Something inside me is triggered, is activated, is whatever word we want to use. It's just not sitting easy, right? And I don't know why. Maybe I do. Maybe I know that it's because when I was, 5, this happened to me and it's been bothering me ever since. Right? I don't know, right?
Yeah.
There's so many different things that could be happening. But, when we allow ourselves to be raw and be open and be real with somebody else, we hold space for an opportunity. And that's really all we can ask for.
And not only are we giving ourselves that gift, but we're also giving the other person the opportunity to be vulnerable and to share that with you. And I think that is huge. I know, when we can be authentic and vulnerable, others feel safe to be the same. And I think that is a huge thing, a huge gift that we can give.
Yeah, and holding on to strong feelings, it can be overwhelming. And sometimes we don't even know why we're having the feeling,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it is hard to stay grounded. And this is where, again, finding community and a safe place and a safe person to explore that with can be really beneficial. Or allowing yourself, again, that inner diplomacy, right? Allowing yourself the ability to work through it, right? To say, okay, I'm really upset right now. Why am I upset? Okay, I'm upset because I don't feel like this was fair. Okay, why don't I think like this was fair? Well, I don't think this was fair because blah, 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 blah. Well, is that really what I think? Well, no, actually, it's because blah, 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 blah. Well, no, that doesn't really make sense either. Okay, no, I'm really actually upset because da, 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 da. Right? And you process it out until you get to the core of it. Right? But it's, and most of the time, even if it is about what somebody else did, ultimately it comes back to, I'm upset because of how I did something.
Yeah.
Because of something I thought or felt about a situation and the way I allowed something to happen in my reality.
Yeah.
Right?
So Lisa says that, I guess this is the feather person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what you were saying there, brings, that's often what I do is I ask people 5 whys, which is a business technique. Actually, it's root cause analysis. And so you start working through, okay, this really triggered me. So why did this trigger me? right? Because of X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, why does X, Y, and Z matter? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? And then you end up getting to like a root cause, right? And oftentimes it has nothing to do with what triggered you. And it's always our fears coming up.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, and it is, and I'm sorry, like having to deal with narcissism is really hard, right? I will never say that that's an easy thing to experience, because it's not. And, you know, with an empath dealing with somebody who's narcissistic, like that's a very, very toxic situation. And I'm not gonna, you know, sugarcoat that, because
No,
it is.
it is. It's toxic.
Right. And so, you know, it's something that it takes going inside to heal from too, because, you know, we get to a place where we start to go, why do I put myself in these situations?
Right.
Why do I allow myself to get caught up in this, that, or the other? Right? And we have to forgive ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to go and bring in some self-compassion, and we have to bring in some grace, and we have to allow space for that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, you know, having, you know, a gift that allowed you to go in and do some reflection and some growth, whatever this other person's reason was, is still a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Just a quick hello to Betsy Palmer. Hello, hello.
Hello.
She's work lurking. That's awesome. Thank you. And Kaylee says she actually finds herself doing the 5 whys when you're feeling confused. Yeah. It can really help to simplify it, because, yeah, it does. It is the fears, right, that come up. It's our fear. And we all have them. You know, we're all in that situation. So,
yeah. And when we recognize what we're afraid of, right, that can help.
Well, naming it helps, right? Even naming it. Even if there's still work to do around that. And then, you know, for me, I use the Ho'oponopono. You got a whole basket of things to use. I just, you know, keep it simple, but not a psychologist, so don't do that. But.
I actually had a client one time use this analogy. I don't do scary movies. I can't. But it was a really neat analogy of, you know, in a scary or suspenseful movie, when before you've seen like the bad guy or the monster in the movie, it's like, oh, but the moment you see it, you're like, even if it is scary looking, you're like, oh, okay. And if you can look at it from like a cinematography kind of thing, you're like, oh, that's really cool. And look at the graphic and like, look what they're doing with it. And like when you can kind of break it down and understand like the nuance of it and everything, it's not scary anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's really the unknown.
It's the unknown of it. Right. And it's, and that's it. And it's, you know, the mind has an incredible power to change our reality like that.
Yeah.
And we just go with it. We don't challenge it. We don't, you know, question it. We don't do anything. And unless we're conscious of it. Right? But if we're conscious of it and we're intentional about it and we're aware of it, then we can go, oh, wait a minute, mind.
Wait a minute. Why are you thinking that?
A minute.
What is that? Where's that coming from exactly?
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I notice it too, right? Like everything is fine. And then like, you know, somebody will say something, or you'll hear a noise, or the dogs will stare at something, because, you know, animals stare
They
at
see
something,
stuff.
or I'll get a feeling for something. And all of a sudden I want to turn all the lights on. And I'm like, wait, I know I'm safe. Like, I know I'm safe. Right? But the mind does that.
It does. Yeah.
Right? and it's such an easy thing in that to recognize, right? But when it comes to relationships, when it comes to what somebody says about us or to us, when it comes to those kinds of dynamics, it's harder to catch,
Yeah.
right?
It is.
And so conflict happens really easily.
Thank you, Sharon. That's lovely.
Thank you so much.
Sending it to you as well. She also says happy
Mhm.
birthday to everyone
Oh, I love it.
this month.
Sharon is awesome.
She
Like she's
is.
just stepped in and like is
She's
putting up our sites and
it's
putting up
beautiful.
everything.
We
Thank
appreciate you,
so
Sharon.
much.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
We appreciate all of you.
Mhm.
We have some amazing people that join us each and every week, and it's really warms my heart to see you all here. So thank you.
Mhm.
Do we want to pick a card for our last 15?
Yeah.
Our usual, we pick a card from this deck from James Van Praagh.
Speaking of cards,
Yeah.
Indigo is, I use cards to help me get some of my answers.
Oh yeah, that was one of the ones that was up there. There we go.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Mhm.
Heather's a great reader as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, what is it about closets?
That's so funny. I don't close my closet.
Yeah, it really
I keep
depends
it.
on the person, right? My closet
Yeah.
actually isn't in my room. I know it sounds
Oh,
weird,
there
but
you go.
it's just the way our house is built.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it definitely depends on the person and on the closet.
It does. It does. All right, let's see what Spirit wants us to talk about today. What is going to fall out today? We're getting a little low on the cards, so our options are limited. However, no idea what they are, so we'll just see what they say. Oh, maybe this one. Oh, that's a nice one. Success. I know there is no greater goal than love. So that kind of ties in with our theme, right?
Mm-hmm.
The one we've been talking about. So that emotional relationship form of success, right? So what do you, and success is different for everybody.
Well, I love that it's, love is,
Yeah, exactly. Relationship love.
Yeah. Well, and the city for this one is peace, right? For the transit that we're in right now. And, this idea that, really to be able to be in this place where we're able to be with our emotions, where we're able to resolve conflict, right? I mean, ultimately, to be able to have that internal locus of control, to know that we are going to be safe because we are the ones that determine our safety,
Right.
right?
We also determine our own success.
That is, yeah, that
Right?
is, success, because that love, right? That ability to love ourselves and to love those around us and to love our experience. I mean, yeah.
This mandala does look like that. I just put it away, but I'll pull it out again. Just on top. It does look like a windmill.
Nice.
Very cool.
Very
Toss
cool.
some things around here on my desk.
Just,
Oh well.
Mhm.
So be it.
Yeah. Well, in hard, consistent work, we talk about that. And I say to clients all the time too, and I know I've said it on here so many times, like, this is simple. It's not easy.
Right.
Right? Like we talk about all of this stuff and, it's simple to talk about. It's not easy to implement, right? And to do, because we're changing paradigms. We're changing the way that we see ourselves and the way that we see the world because of all of the conditioning that we have,
Mhm.
right?
Well, that's what the healing journey is, though, is that reprogramming
Exactly.
of how we see things when we talk about that, right? The spiritual healing or the emotional healing. It's about reprogramming our perspective.
Yeah.
Hi, Susan. Thank you for joining us.
I see.
Good to see you.
Yes.
Yes, they are indeed. Simple and easy are very different things.
Exactly.
Simple, 1, 2, 3 steps. Easy would be that those 3 steps are simply very little effort to complete them. So you could have 3 steps that are a lot of effort, and that's not easy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the work really is the intentionality, right? Can we truly be on and intentional, right? And that's hard.
Oh, did it not work? It's okay. Thank you, Sharon, for whatever you're doing to help. We appreciate whatever help you can give us. Big hugs for you too.
Yeah. Big hugs. Don't know what's not working, but
The links, I
thanks
think
for
she put a
trying.
link in. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you. So, I'm just looking at so Heather brought up the Wheel of Fortune, which is one of the tarot cards, right? We've actually got an itty bitty star there too in the center. You see the star?
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
It's really nice, yeah. I
Well,
like
and
the colors too.
yeah, I mean, when we talk about the Wheel of Fortune, right? Because we're talking about the fact that things change, right? And we've talked about change on the show too,
Yes.
right? And the need
The
to
unknown thing.
change and how hard that is. And when we're talking about, success and how do we measure success? And I think that, so often we look at, well, in the 3D world, we look at measuring things in a very linear way.
Mm-hmm. Quantitatively, right? As
Right.
opposed to qualitatively, which I think
And that makes
is
it really
important.
hard to measure because the world doesn't always operate that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And when we talk about spiritual journey, we're on a spiral. So,
And it's not quantitative at all.
and it's really
very
hard to
qualitative.
measure
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Right. And so, we there's so many components to that. And so, yeah, I mean, look at you guys. You're pulling out all of these different cards, right? So we've got the world card, we've got the star, and we've got the wheel, which are those are 3 beautiful cards to put together if you actually think about it, right? So, right, can we be at peace with whatever is going on around us, knowing that the wheel is going to spin as the wheel is going to spin, knowing that
Everything is cyclical.
star in the center, that our internal locus of control, like we were talking about before, that star, that is our center, right?
So another symbolism is about staying centered to be successful,
Mm-hmm.
right? And projecting our energy, all those lines coming out of the center, right? We project our energy out. And they're golden. So let's project our golden light to the world. Is that a good vision for success for us? Let's put this out there. What is your definition of success, because I think everybody's is very different. I think for me, it's always been make a difference to the world, make a difference in the world in whatever way I can at that moment can be a success.
Yeah.
Be compassionate, be loving. Those are things that I would see myself as being successful when I do that. I don't know. What do you guys feel? How do you measure your success? Or how do you see yourself? When do you see yourself as successful? Staying true to yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
Accomplishing what I set out to do, benefiting others, quality of self-care. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. And that's how we start to reframe, right? That's our healing journey, is when we can start to reframe. So it's not so much about the money or the job or the home. It's about having community, support, giving and receiving love, finding that authentic happiness. And what does that mean to you? What does authentic happiness mean?
Yeah.
Where do we find that? Most of the time, that's internal.
Well, and that's it. It has to come from there first,
Mm-hmm.
right? And radiate out. And that's what I love about all of the cards that you pulled out from the tarot deck for the imagery from that card, right? Because the star, that hope, right? That coming from the inside, coming out, that ability for inspiration to come out from you, right? Knowing that no matter what is changing around you, no matter what is happening, you've got it right here.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Right?
And Liz says she's feeling a ton lighter since our class. That's awesome. Her definition of success has transitioned to the spirit world now.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Peace, love, and liberty. I'm proud of myself, said my higher self.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We're proud of you too. And listen to messages. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen to those messages.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Beautiful. That inner peace, I think, is also a great success marker. When you're feeling inner peace, it helps you to know when you're successful.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. When we can all be authentic.
Yeah.
When we can all be that vulnerable, authentic being. Absolutely. And we are always so grateful for you guys for bringing that to our discussions. When you bring your vulnerable side and share your inner stuff with all of us in the community, it's beautiful. So,
well, that's it. If I had to say, is this a success? The moment that somebody's able and willing to be authentic and open, go, wow.
Yeah,
That's
success.
what it's about. That's a success.
For us creating this, holding space for others to do that.
All it was.
Success.
That was the hope. That was what it, was for. And so you guys have made that a reality.
Yeah, for us and for each other. because I love the way you support each other in the chat. I just think that's amazing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So beautiful. And yes, I looked at the clock at this time as well.
Yeah.
I paused. I know. Did you hear me? You saw the pause? That was at 5:55 Eastern Standard, guys. Yeah. Awesome. It does, however, bring us pretty much to the end of the show. Is there anything that anybody wants to add at the end of the show? What would you like to add, Jen? How do you want to sum up the energy or the topic of success?
If we can take the energy from right now, right? The energy that we have together, supporting one another, holding space for vulnerability, holding space to be authentic, to share our truth and carry that forward. That's what we need for this week.
That is what we need for this week. Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few other opportunities to join us, or to join me anyways, and the Twillow Lifestyle team. So Wednesday, there's readings with Michelle at 7 Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
And then Friday, Ramsey and I are doing open mic at 7 Eastern. So feel free to join us there. We have Aqua Lead coming up this weekend. So if you guys are interested in that, please take a look. So Aqua Lead is another healing modality, much like Reiki. However, it heals the water within the body. In the first level is about the body. The second level is actually about healing, helping to heal the water in the environment and externally. And so it's fascinating. It's great for inflammation. That's what I use it for a lot in myself and clients, is for inflammation. It's a different, the energy feels different. It's very like waves is what it feels like. So it's a beautiful energy that's coming up, level 1 on the weekend. And what have you got going on, Jen? What else have we got going on with the community?
Yeah, well, I think there's some stuff coming up in a couple weeks, but for this coming week, I think that
covers it for this coming week. And then we've got the retreat, of course, the week after.
Mm-hmm.
And next week on Twillow Talk, we have Angela Day joining us again. She was with us last year. So, yeah. So lots happening. And we have people wishing each other a wonderful week. We have Gerald. We have some stuff coming up with Gerald. I have some beautiful meetings coming up with a couple of you about different things. And we appreciate you, Facebook user. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of hearts. Yeah. Inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, things are busy, but it's beautiful. When you're doing things that you love, it doesn't feel like that. Oh, Susan, okay. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you as well, Susan. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, on that note, check in. I'll be posting. I don't know what that is exactly, but
Anonymous.
Oh, anonymous. Okay.
I just love the breakup of it.
Thank you, Susan. I think it's because maybe you switched to being within a group or something. I don't know, because when we're in a group, it shows up as anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Fogo Pogo. That's great. And Heather, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So check out, I'm going to be posting our energy update of the week and crystal of the week later on tonight or tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, and that will help support you through the week. And we are just sending you guys tons of love. and tons of light for this interesting transit this week. All right. Have a great week, everyone. And we shall see you either on other shows or next week at 5 o'clock for Twillow Talk. See you soon.